Mm. All right now. Just real quick. You know, we love our introductions.
Yes.
My people.
Every topic has its song. And tonight it's Sam Cooke.
Oh, yeah.
A change is gonna come. Oh, I gotta stop rocking. I was really rocking. My mama done got on me about that rocking.
She can't help herself.
Always out there rocking. You need to stop that.
She, what they call them, that's them souls right there.
Because you gotta rock when you hear stuff like this.
Earth before.
Yes. Your spirit jumps out. Like it attaches itself to the song, you know.
Exactly. And the fascinating part about tonight is we're gonna be talking about 5 generations in the Black community.
Yes. And generations before us that we pay homage to.
Yes, indeedy.
And the generations that are here now, trying to pick up the slack and get back on track.
So much.
So that we can now pave that road that they plowed.
Oh yeah. Us. Oh yeah. You know, we don't
stop preaching.
We don't run away from that. You know, we know where we came from.
Yes.
And wherever it started at that water's edge.
Yeah.
We have so much still to give.
We were built for greatness.
Oh yeah.
We were built for greatness.
You can't come through what we came through
and not be. And not be.
Know,
that's right. We are still here.
Yes,
and we're still striving, and we don't have it all together, but we gonna get it together, y'all. We gonna get it together.
But that's what makes it so great, is that we have opportunity to look to our past. This is the season that most families get together, and yet and still they will not talk about this.
Will not have those hard conversations.
You know, and it makes you better. You know, it sharpens you.
Yes, it does. Iron sharpens iron, y'all.
For the things
we gotta learn that. That's right. Y'all need to get together these holidays and have those serious conversations. Yeah, feelings gonna be hurt because time hasn't healed those wounds yet. You know, and yeah, you might get called out, but you already know what your foolishness is. So don't be surprised when they call you out on it. Just accept it and say, "Yeah, you're right, Mama. Yeah, you're right, Auntie. I do need to do better."
Daddy and uncle. I mean, it's a part of what we do best.
That's right.
But truth be told, this, like Maya said earlier, when you have a song like this, it resonates within the Black community.
It does.
I don't think there's any other culture, any other ethnicity who can put something to a song
and feel
where it makes it
to your core.
It makes you feel a certain kind of way.
Like I could feel what he was walking through.
Yes.
You know, and that's one of the, as I say that, that's what connects Black men to Black women.
Yes.
Because you don't need too much to understand what he's going through. And he doesn't need to have too much to go on to know what I'm going through.
True.
And when you hear songs like that, that's how you connect it. Because you both feel that pain and that you know, wanting to strive for something greater, but have to push so hard to get through and to be recognized.
Yep.
And yet and still, the silent generation and the greater generation did that.
They did it.
They did. But,
I mean, without even a thought to it, because they knew, you know, we're going to do this because we're not going to peril. We're not going to just fall off.
They're not going to tell us who we are and what we can do. We will show them
the ancestors
who we are.
Before them.
Yes, and what we can do.
They saw what they did and how they came about. But real quick, y'all, I just want to say this. Hey, my name is Chauncey Anderson. Welcome to the T. I'm your host.
And I'm Mayaka Anderson, your co-host. Welcome, welcome, and welcome.
Real talk. This is like I say again, this topic, the 5 generations, have been near and dear to my heart. It has been a subject that he lives on, y'all. Lives on. I live, breathe, and need it, because I think it's so important for what it is that we are trying to do today.
Right.
That if we do not take a moment to sit down with our elders
and build that bridge
right there. And that first bridge starts with the greatest generation.
It does.
This is what I'm talking about. From 1901 to 1924, these men and women did spectacular things without, the coin in the pocket that we have here today in the 21st century. They didn't have the necessary technology that we had, but boy, did they
had that mental power, didn't they? They knew how to work it.
They knew how to go not only mentally, physically, as well as spiritually, deep within, to build some of the greatest institutions, like Booker T. Washington with the Tuskegee Institute.
You got the Bethune College.
Oh yeah,
you got George Henry White in Congress, who left Congress in 1901.
Yeah.
So come on, y'all. Yeah. Come on.
We know that we can do these things.
We can.
As it moved over to the silent generation, and that generation was 1925 to 1945. Oh my God, some of the things that they were doing, it was so spectacular that, I mean, you can't even begin to know the depths with that of the great. I mean, racism has always been throughout
around and always will be. Let's get that straight.
Our people ran the race,
right,
and outshined.
They were in the race
on so many levels.
Yes.
Some of what they call these white supremacies or KKK or these leaders,
right,
that even they had to pay homage,
right,
to the things that they did.
Isn't it amazing?
I mean, it's like
amazing.
It's frightening,
mm-hmm.
you know, but it's up to us to make the recognition.
Yes.
We're not trying to get recognition from nobody else. If we would but start recognizing it ourselves,
that we are great. We don't need to be told we're great.
No,
we're born with greatness in us. We feel it.
Exactly.
You feel it within your melanin.
Yeah.
You feel that you are different, that you are great.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need anyone to put a stamp of approval on that. Your stamp of approval was when you were kissed by the sun, honey.
Exactly.
This skin color is your stamp of approval.
Ain't too many people got it.
Yes. It is special.
We, as they would like to say, we are that which is the original.
That's right.
Because everybody want our hair, everybody want our lips, everybody want our nose. They even cracking the nose off of our ancestors over on the continent of Africa.
Right.
That were built, that still stood the test of time,
mm-hmm.
to try to say that it wasn't us.
Right.
Whether it was the Greeks or whether it was the Romans or whether it was the Arabs or whether
mm-hmm.
you name it, the Spaniards. You can't
paint over all of that. You can't shoot up all of that.
Some things are just too hard or too great. And the reason why they can't is because they want it.
Yes.
They take what our ancestors had and they wish to try to duplicate it
mm-hmm.
for themselves. And fail to realize it was us that did it.
It was us. It wasn't the fact that these things were this material thing, these stones were put together or these statues were built.
Mm-hmm.
It was us.
Yes.
And so you can build and try to replicate all you want, but if you are not of us, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's the difference between that which we call organic in nature,
right,
and that which we call artificial in nature.
That's right.
And that's what they've been doing for a time past.
Yes.
That which is artificial. In nature. Mm-hmm. And it cannot, like we said,
they try to duplicate the truth in everything, whether it's nature, whether it's medicine, no matter what it is, it's always some kind of manipulation to duplicate, make better, or start over. Like the original wasn't good itself.
No, I mean, here's the primary example. You take one of our greatest scientists, botanists, biologists, Dr. George Washington Carver, who with a single peanut, made many, inventions and different things to that fashion. It boggled the mind, but when he was asked how did he do it, again, he was castrated when he was 7. But when he was asked how did he do that,
he was castrated when he was 7
years of age. He said, "Guess what? The plant talks to me." Can you imagine getting back to that point? It seemed like it's so hard, but truth be told, we have some people with green thumbs that know about to the various herbs and the various plant lives and the different things that. Again, our ancestors, let's go straight into the baby boomer generation, silent generation. We didn't have doctors that always came to our household.
Right.
It was our grandparents. It was our mothers that would say, and our fathers that would say to us, "Hey, go get that root out the backyard.
Yes.
Hey, go get that off the shelf. I already got that package.
That's right. We're going to mix this together." It was the midwives that came and delivered your baby and blessed your baby and prayed over your baby for greatness. True. And it was the other women around too. We've lost so much. I think when integration came in and we felt, oh, we're good enough to go see a doctor, a white doctor now with some real medicine, that it kind of threw off that balance of us going to our elders and getting those medicinal things and seeing midwives. Because now there's a big thing about how Black women aren't getting the treatment they need when they are having their babies. What do you expect? These are white institutions put together. They never wanted to deliver our babies, and they don't care if our babies live or die. So we need to get back to having more of us becoming midwives, more of us becoming doulas, and being able to do what we did in the past. Bring those babies in that world with love, knowing that we love them and we care for not just for them, but for their mother and for the father, because we want a homogeneous
want them to be together.
Yes, together, one whole. And we want to pray over them and make sure that they prosper and go forth right. You know, this is what we need. We need to get back to where we were, our traditions, and we need to pay homage to those who put them in place and who kept them throughout all that went on, that kept true to who they were as much as they could.
And that goes without saying, because that, like Maya just said, that generation, which is called the baby boomer generation from 1946 to 1964, trust, do believe, they came through even more trying times. You know, not just slavery, but then the Jim Crow laws was put up on
Jim Crow laws.
Having that, the father's not being able to be in the household.
So dad begins to learn how to work women so he can have a place to lay his head. But now we got children all over the place. And now the women have to depend on getting benefits, but they still have to go out and work. So who's there with the children? Now children are doing what they want. Latchkey kids. I mean, the way that they set it up to break this down, instead of us saying, no, we can do this on our own. We don't need your assistance. I'd rather have my husband here and we'll suffer together than him go out there running around and not have a place to call his home.
And it was a mindset.
It was a mindset.
And when it was created and it was captured, and projects got built up, and we all start communicating up into that, congregating up into that. It left no stone unturned with what other cultures could do to our society. You know, it made you feel like, I can't get this if I have this situation.
If I have this going on, they can't help me.
We saw generations before that, the silent and the greatest generation, that stayed together
and did great things. And they built. And they didn't care what the rules and the laws were. Those families were together.
Didn't allow it to dictate.
That's right.
The way that you're going to live your life, because you knew you had that next generation, that if you were with them, and you still watched it and seen it. Some families did stay. Some families said, come hook or crook.
We're going to stay together.
Water.
We'll figure it out together.
We're going to be together through this.
Yes.
And the kids came through it, and they soared.
And that took courage and strength. And
unlike any other.
To be able to trust one another, had to really have a trust and know that, we're going to go through some things, but I'd rather go through it with you than not to go through it at all. And
sometimes that's what you see even into our generation, the Generation X, or even the millennial generation. We've had this saying that we call it ride or die. You know, Generation X from 1965 to 1985. The millennial generation from 1986 to 2005. It is so, it's heart-wrenching that we sometimes think that we got to go at it alone when we have, the examples, the teachings
that were left behind,
that were there. But if only you would be willing to sit with your grandfather, to be able to sit with your great grandmother, to be able to sit with your grandmother or your mother or your father,
and have those conversations and ask those questions and seek the guidance. If you're not sure about an area that you want to travel in your life, the direction you're going, and you don't like the outcome that you have, to go back and seek one of those elders and who's doing well and whose life has always seemed to be together, and say, hey, auntie, hey, uncle, how did you do this? How did you maneuver through this area? What do you think if I did this? To be able to have someone to go to, that's like gold. That is gold. In the fact that you turn your back on it and act like, oh, that's just old. They just old. They don't know what they're There's nothing, like my husband said, there's nothing new under the sun. If you think they don't know or they haven't seen, then you're living in a playland, because they know exactly what's going on. They're with it. Don't just push them to the side. No. They can be very helpful.
They do some things that sometimes were what we think is necessary to achieve things. They can do it in a matter of moments, because they have seen the things that are going on. They know who you should be talking to, how you should be networking, how you should be going. As they called it back in the day, they called it hustling. We call it networking today.
Yes.
Some of the younger groups do say hustling, but they ain't doing nowhere near the hustling
that was going on back then. The level that they was on to get to where they were.
And they made it happen. You know, I mean, when you if you come together, you just all about this talk.
But ain't nobody moving or no actions taking
doing
place.
Nothing behind it. Is, you know, you in for a long day. You in for a rude awakening. And my challenge is here in the Black community that we get beyond that point of just talking.
Yes.
You know, like when me and my wife decided to start the tea, it be 0, it can be 20, it can be however many people on. We still gonna do this.
We're gonna do this because we
believe and feel in our hearts that it's necessary. It's something about our generation and this next group of elders that we have, again, we have that connection.
Right.
Of our past ancestors, both that have gone on and those that are still alive, to the millennial generation and soon to be as Gen X is, I mean, but almost 15 to 17 years of age,
right?
They right around the corner.
Yep, that's right.
And so there's a discussion that needs to be had, and you need to know how to be able to connect and to sit down. And I mean, I wish I could say that I always had the answers to some things, especially as I was growing up. But the reason why I went in the military is that I watched my great uncle come through the door one day in his uniform, and I saw him by way of my great aunt, who was shaking hands with President Harry S. Truman. That was inspiration. I didn't know where my career would take me when I joined the military, but I had been part of the government since birth. I joined the military. I was part of the government. I left the military. I didn't think I would go back into the government, but here I am today. You know,
you just never know where life leads you. And that was all off from seeing one of your elders come in and you being just like sparked. Like, isn't that amazing that people can see kids? Kids can see you and be like, wow, what is that? I want that. And it can get stuck in their spirit to the point that it stays with them until they're grown and they're like, I still want to do that. I still remember when auntie or uncle came by and they were talking this or they look like that. And I was just like, wow, I've never seen that before. You know, in my environment, where did you come from? You know, why isn't everybody like this? You know? So it is so interesting, you know, in I laugh all the time because my dad always has these great stories about my grandmother and great grandma and, you know, and stuff. And, you know, when you were talking about, we do a live show on Facebook also. So you have brought up the subject about, cutting people loose, people in your life. And my dad always tells this story of this, this little boy he used to hang around, and his mom would always tell him, boy, stop hanging around that boy. He sweat on his nose. He mean.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, he sweats on his nose and he's mean. My dad said, yes, he was a mean son of a gun and was nothing but trouble. But it's funny how our elders and grandmas, because he has all kinds of stories, you know, that they could see things.
Yes.
And there's just like certain telltale signs about certain people
and that
you stay around or you don't. And they could, and today your mama can look at somebody and say, I don't want you around that girl. Or I don't want you right. They ain't even gotta give you a reason. And they right. They right. You may be mad about it. But think about some of those people that your mama told you not to hang around. And then see as an adult, where are they today?
Oh yeah. And it was truly to your good.
Good. But they had that instinct. You know, they knew in their heart, you know, and that's what the elders do when you go to them. They know, baby, that ain't how you do things. Baby, that's not what we gonna do. That's not how our family does things. You know, and they put it to you, that ain't ladylike. Oh, honey, no, you need to, you know, we gonna cover up some of this. Why don't you go and put on a little longer skirt? You know, and this is to your betterment. And yet, you know, I've seen people catch the attitude,
the influence of what it is that comes from. And again, be it my generation or our generation after us, sometimes it's profound because what we believe that's being said to us is that you're taking something from us. And as you become adults, you're so quick to be mindful of it. That's the most hilarious thing about
Isn't it?
If I would have gone this way,
if
I had listened to what
she was right. He was
my grandmother, my mom, who are no longer with me. I mean, I see this time of the season, I see hearts stirred.
Oh, yes.
I mean, grief or sadness.
Yes.
I mean, at this time, with me and my wife, I want us to be able to have prayer and meditation and pour out a libation to our ancestors that have gone before us, that are no longer here on this earth with us. Those that are here with us, I want us to be able to see and to talk to and raise a toast and give praise to them.
Yes. And thank them.
Truly.
Thank them.
That next generation that's behind us, let them soon know you're going to be stepping into this.
Right.
So we raise a toast, lift our grandchildren up.
Yes.
In high regard.
And pray for them.
In high
for
regard.
What they're getting ready to step into.
Truly.
And to pick up the slack that we have and to continue to pave that road that was plowed for us.
And it goes without, I mean, this woman right here, all day, fellas. Hold your cup up, baby. Did you show them the cup already?
I didn't show them. Y'all, this is a quick commercial break. So this is Coco Made. Queen of everything. Queen of everything. It's really cute. Y'all go out and support Black-owned business. Coco Made.
I'm gonna tell you like this. In this household right here, this is the queen. The queen of everything up in here. When we riding together, this is my baby. I ain't even have a ring on or a ring off. This right here, Miyaka Anderson.
Oh, goodness.
You throw the A up in there.
Right.
But she is a queen. And once you can do that, this is what they say about the ant community. Real quick, and jump over to the animal kingdom. They say one ant can lift over 100 times its weight. They say when there are two ants together, they can lift over 1,000 times their weight together. Imagine a husband and wife being dynamic in a Black community.
Right.
What you can lift and what you can do.
Yes.
Add a child into that mix.
Oh, yes.
What you can do.
Lift and what you can do.
Add siblings into that mix. What you can do.
Yes.
Add your elders into the mix. What you can do.
We can build kingdoms. We could build kingdoms.
A year. Give us 1 year. If we will focus our minds on doing what we're supposed
to be doing instead of what everybody else is saying about us.
The water.
That's right. That's right. Our focus needs to be remained in our community.
That's all I'm saying.
Because the other communities is not going to change. We're never going to change their mind. They're never going to give us a standing ovation. We know this. Let's stop even talking about it. And let's focus on what we're supposed to be doing instead of arguing with each other about some BS that we can't even change.
Can't control it.
We can't control it.
My baby, she just said it. And again, Facebook Live, Maya said it early. When it's the Asian community, they don't be worrying about what's going on in the Black community.
Oh, no.
The white community, they don't worry about what's going on in the white community. I mean, you can go with the Arab. They don't worry about it.
No.
You can go with you think just of a nationality.
They don't care and not even trying to understand what's going on in our community. We
love to get together and drink some tequila with them, but they ain't worried about what's going on in the Black community.
They got their own community, and you can see that they are focused on their community.
So imagine.
And we did the same thing. What we do,
if you take the aspect of not racism, but just running a race,
right? Put
us on a track with anybody,
and we blow them.
We dust them.
Blow them out the water.
So take us and put us in the business aspect of learning that, teaching that next generation coming up on how to do it. You blow them out the water, helping them to understand what finance is all about, understanding what home ownership is all about, helping them to understand what education is good,
networking, collaboration, all of that. I mean, if it was possible for them to do such great and epic things during slavery, during the greatest generation, the silent generation, we really don't have a leg to stand on. We have nothing to say there. It is not the system, it's not the white man, it's us, because they were able to do some magnificent things at a time that oppression and racism was at its highest. Huge. I can't even imagine the heaviness they must have felt walking out of the door or even laying in their bed at night. And with the little freedoms we do have as Blacks, We really take it for granted. And then we want to look outside and say it's their fault. They're their fault. Right. Yeah, there's a system, but the system's been there since we got off the boats. So how were we able to be so great in the past and be nothing and not even accounted for or have a voice today? And something is wrong.
Because I think at the same token, those generations though they were put through what they were put through, and their ancestors before them, our ancestors before them,
right,
when they did get off of that boat at this water's edge here in the United States, they did not, in their back of their mind, they never forgot where they came from.
They knew they had to keep plowing forward.
People today,
we don't know who the hell
we don't even want to be a part of
No.
anything of the continent of Africa.
We sure don't.
The beauty and grandeur and where almost everything comes from today still. The diamonds, the iron ore, the vegetation, all of the tropical plants, let alone the animals. I mean, you willing to pay $170 to take your family to a zoo when you can take a trip to Africa and see them in the wild.
Right. And that reminds me, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was like,
come on, y'all.
He was like, you know, he was talking about different cultures and our culture also. He was like, it's kind of funny. Yeah. You know, you have blacks here from Africa. As we were talking about immigration also. Right. He says, but you can, you know, people get mad when like the Ethiopians come over and how they don't really associate with blacks. Right. He said, but you know, they have a culture and a tradition, and they come over here and they see how we act,
right?
And they see how we conduct ourselves. And he says, hell, if I was an Ethiopian, I wouldn't deal with us either. So that tells you a lot, because there are a lot of Africans that come from Africa over here, and I've seen and heard that they don't deal with us. But if they have their own traditions and their own cultures and things that they teach their kids, why on earth would you mix them with Black Americans?
And truth be told, as Maya saying, just like as I was one of the teachers that I'm studying through and under, it is something that you ceremonially, by way of a ceremony, or you bring to that to the different countries over there, if you want to be a part of that community over there. Ghana, Ethiopia, Egypt is mixed with all sorts of other people, but truly the African people, you bring a gift. Imagine if you did see a brother or sister that was of any African descent, that's from Africa, and when you shook hands or you said hello to that person, you honor them, you know, and as you show them honor, you show them love, you show them respect. Right. Guess what's going to come back your way?
It'll come back the other way. But when you got a people out here half dressed, cussing at everybody, disrespecting their elders, even in their family, not doing anything, sitting on the curb, gangbanging, shooting, whatever it is, when those ethnicities come over, though they share the same skin color, we do not share the same belief system,
history,
traditions, values, or morals. So they shut themselves off, as they should. As they should. I do not blame them.
Right.
They should. They shut themselves off and they stay within themselves. They do not want to be paired with a people, whether we be same color or not, whether we all originated from Africa or not.
That's not going to do right by themselves.
Yes, they are worried about their children, how their children's mentality is, you know, what they do on the street. So they tell their kids, no, we don't do that. No. You come from here. This is what we do. You will keep with our traditions. You will keep with our, you know, our traditions and our thoughts and our moral
way of living.
Yes, that's what you do. But
it's about it because they come over here for a purpose.
And they're doing it. And they're doing it. And we've been here forever, and we have nothing really
simply chosen not to.
Yes,
you know,
that is true.
To do the things that we have done and what we've seen in our parents, our great grandparents, our those that have come before us, generation that have paved the way.
Yes,
for us not to do what we do, but say that someone else, some other society, a group of people owe us something.
Right.
I'm not taking it. It is hard. Don't get me wrong.
It is hard. We're not saying it's easy. Hard. This is a hard thing.
Today, in the 21st century.
It's no joke out there.
These guys have it clad, they have it locked down, but they have a belief system. Well, if they ain't gonna try, if they ain't gonna take care of themselves, why should we?
Why should we? Why should they care?
Who are we to give you reparations?
Just because we brought you over here, that wasn't that. They don't care. They don't care. We're the last they're thinking about. And speaking on that, as I was talking on Facebook Live, another thing we need to do is admonish each other, hold each other accountable. Now we go, you'll meet for Christmas Day. Y'all will sit and talk and play spades, dominoes, and you'll have John come over in your house with his pants hanging down, talking about some no nonsense stuff, and everybody gonna act like that's normal. No, it's time out for that. If John don't want to be a part of the community and come in and show respect by putting his clothes on properly and watching his mouth in front of grandma, auntie, uncle, and little baby cousins got to hear this mess. So true. It's time to cut them off from the Black community. And that means that he can't go to any family relative's house to get any food or whatever. We cut him off. We ain't making plays for you, John. Because we're done with it. If you're not gonna respect your family's name and put them out there looking crazy, and y'all all sitting there as adults and elders and can't say nothing to John, and y'all okay, you're part of the problem too. Well, our youth have gotten out of control because the generation before and the generation before sit around like this is normal. It's not normal anywhere in anybody else's culture, ethnicity, but ours. We're the only ones that will deal with the foolishness and then get mad when you call out that they're wrong. Right. That is the problem. You're afraid
to check a situation that you should never allow to even
start. And if you would have put your foot down, you call your uncles and your grandpas or whoever, the men of the family, and you take care of John. That's it. And them girls that coming in there with no clothes on and talking crazy and got a boyfriend every other holiday. It's time to say some stuff. And if they don't want to hear it, it's time to kick them out. We either gonna stand for something or die. You know what I'm saying? Die trying.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna even take that die trying part. We not even gonna entertain trying. You just gonna do it because you have to get past the point of trying. Oh, I tried and
I tried to talk to that boy. He on my Let me tell y'all, for all you Christians, read in I don't know what book it is, but it's in the Old Testament. What you do with the boy that does not want to listen, a boy that does not heed his mother and father, you take him out to the community. Don't heed the community, you take him to the elders. He don't heed the elders, you take him out and you stone him. Why? Because he's a disease and he's breaking up the community. And you cannot have someone who will not listen to the elders and follow your rules and your traditions walking around, because he's gonna break up and put a bad name on your people. So if he cannot heed, you take him out of the equation. And that's what we need to do. Start banishing.
And that's the exact same thing that ends up happening, is that's what we see what the system does. That's what they look forward to. Yes. Because when you can have that child at that early age and he's like, oh, this is my baby.
Yes.
But soon as he reaches a certain point,
you ain't got no control
and beyond, and that's what you do immediately. You don't allow that to fester. You don't wait until adulthood, teenager, when you think that I can't do nothing with him.
Because if you don't banish them and you don't admonish them, guess what? The system is waiting to put them away. They'll banish them for life. You'll never see them again. Never.
To have you.
That's right.
Quickly say it's your fault. It's your fault. It's not your fault. But the thing of it is, if you're not willing to be involved in it,
that's right. You do play a hand in it.
I mean, until somebody's 6 foot under, you have a responsibility.
And that goes for the men too, not just for these moms trying to raise these boys, because they can't. Well, I don't care who you are, and y'all can disagree or whatever. A woman cannot raise a man. No. Period. Now you got him for a short time, but a man can only teach a man how to be a man. You do the best you can. I give you a shout out. You do the best you can. But that's just the honest truth about the situation. And so we need our men to come in full force and take care of your children.
And this is what's happening. I mean, truth be told, and as we've gone over by way of a little bit, I'm going to just say this as a wrap up. We have only scratched the surface when it comes to talking about generations. The 5 generations in which we see that we owe it to one another to begin to have a discussion, a dialogue.
That's right. It's time to start talking and stop holding secrets.
Who was it? I was just talking to somebody the other day of a different ethnicity, and they said the same thing. They felt like their nieces and nephews feel like they have to come see them in order for them to get together. And they're young adults. Here's where it is. We're going to wrap this one up. And we're going to, I think it's next Sunday is the 30th.
Yeah.
And we're going to look forward to the opportunity. I don't get into New Year's resolution, but we want to talk about goals in your household. We're going to go ahead and bring it back to basics because we've broken ground on a lot of different topics
we have.
And we have a funny feeling
getting you introduced
that people can turn over the ground if you're single, if you're married, engaged, whatever. If you're young, if you're old, whatever the generational circumstance is, there should be a goal that's set forth for you. If there's a father and a son, you should talk about goals with each other. Mother and a daughter talk about goals with each other. Whether it's your education, however you're willing to strike forward.
Right.
Going into 2019.
That's right.
I'm gonna keep it 100. And me and my wife today, as we was walking our dog, we start talking about it because I don't want to ever have it be said that we're not always, again, like I said earlier, fellas, right here, we get thousands, two minds thinking on the same wavelength.
Right.
You can do some things. But that's even touching the hearts of your young ones.
That's
whether
right.
It's friends, family.
Teach them to have goals and visions. That gives your life so much more meaning when you know that you're going after something and to accomplish it, and especially for children. Because if they accomplish it, they're like, what can I do next?
Yes.
Can I do this next? And it pushes them instead of telling kids when they say something, boy, you ain't about nothing. You ain't going to do nothing because your daddy ain't do nothing, whatever. Speaking death into them. If you speak life into them and whatever they bring to you, say, hey, baby, that sounds good. How would you suppose we start doing that? You would be shocked at what comes out of the mouth of these young kids.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
The babes they're going to do such great things.
They are. And they just need that push and that positive.
Right. And even so much more, we need it.
And we still need it.
Young adults
still need it.
Go from millennials to baby boomers.
Yeah.
Those of us that are adults, speaking to our elders.
That's right.
The baby boomers, Gen Xers.
Within our community, we
those
do.
Those that are still alive, that are even the elders in the silent and the greatest generation.
Like Cicely Tyson, 1924.
94 years of age.
Whoever is surrounding her, whoever has just the ability to be in her presence.
Yes.
I can't imagine the stories, the wisdom, the knowledge and she's so eloquent with everything and how she speaks and how she carries herself.
She looks radiant.
I mean, that woman, right there. I feel like she's like the black community mama. I do. I feel like she's that one that you could go to and the light would just, woo, and she just give you, just pour out and you just be a blubber and, what should I do? She is amazing.
We give reverence to our elders.
We do. Love you, Cicely Tyson. Alive, boy, do I love you.
And we also give and we pour out libations and honor to those that have gone before us. Trust, do, believe. We could be on this topic right here
forever. And Greatest Generation, just thank you for all of the World War II vets out there who did. Tuskegee. There's so many. If you follow us on Instagram, you will see I've listed a lot of different battalions, regiments, that were out there. But we want to say thank you because not enough light has shone on all of those Black soldiers that went out there, did their job, and then had to come home and be treated the way they were. And they were, when you read their history, if you go beyond the Tuskegee Airmen, there were so many. And the death toll of the Blacks out of all World War II is phenomenal.
Right.
There wasn't too many deaths compared to how many men went over there. It's phenomenal. We are just great warriors.
Oh yeah.
We're great warriors. We're great minds. We're great hearts, and we're great spirits. Just remember that as you move through
what you do,
your space.
Yes. And like I say again, for this time of the season,
yes,
every day in our life is 365 days in a calendar year of Western civilization.
Yeah.
But we are about to be living and doing some things
that
unless you're ready for it, you might get passed
you
over.
Might just get left behind.
And you might as disheartening as it is,
that's just
you have something within you that you can bring to light.
Harriet Tubman said, I could have saved more. They knew they were slaves. That's some of the mentality. You don't know you caught up.
She wasn't
and you're going to be left behind.
About trying to let you go back either.
That's right. So you just going to have to go on and die.
She took a Colt 45 revolver with her.
I'm going to take you out.
I mean, it's...
You either going to be with us or you going to be with us. That's going to be...
You going to be that next ancestor.
She wasn't playing. That's right.
And that's what we got to look at. We have to be mindful of it. I'm telling you, we ain't gone almost 10 minutes over.
Yes, we got to go. But we will return back to this subject because it really is deep. And until we learn and to build that bridge and really take full advantage of the generations behind us and take full advantage of teaching the generations after us.
We'll always be at a disadvantage.
We'll always be. That is so wonderful.
That's how you wrap that one up.
All right.
That's what
he said it best.
You guys be good. You be solid.
I don't think I was rocking mama, but I did clean my ring. So
we're going to end this stream on a good note.
Bye, y'all.
Happy holidays.
I love you, Black community.
Everybody.
Be safe out there.
Truly.
Yes be indeed. Safe out there.
We love you.
We love you. We do.
Bye.